repaired a lot of stuff in life. Laptops, scuba regulators. Used to do a lot of cave diving, scuba diving. I love cave diving. I'd have double BCDs, oxygen decompression tanks, underwater scooters, underwater cave lighting. The best regulators that money could buy. Like one of them, for example, was a Poseidon Odin. They're these Swedish-made regulators. I'll never forget my giant Poseidon sticker on the back of my car. I used to cave dive several times every week in Central Florida. The specifications on those regulators were not awesome, like flow rate and whatnot. They had some ingenious patents on the secondary as far as airflow, but they were never, amazing specification regulators. But all the people that knew what the hell was up, like people that were hardcore divers and hardcore cave divers and ice divers, people that would, I had a dry suit too, by the way. Really, really, really expensive Poseidon dry suit. Oh my God, so expensive. They'd all dive on Poseidon gear, even though the specifications weren't so high, because it would never freeze up when you're ice diving, because ice is a problem. It's going to freeze inside the regulator, cause your air not to work, and when you're underwater, you probably want air. So these regulators that were not really high specification, all the hard-working pros were like using that stuff, but all the dumbasses, let me repeat that word, dumbasses, would buy the high specification stuff. But then they'd realize, oh, the specifications don't really match real-world performance. Same thing in laptops too. Repair laptops. Used to do laser hardware tech support for Lexmark on the second floor of the main building, Lexmark International. I did laser hardware tech support. Repair computers, repair hard drives. I mean, I repaired a lot of stuff. I got my soldering iron over here in the drawer. However, everything now is so small that a soldering iron is pretty damn useless. It's the same thing people do on these cameras. They look at the specification sheets and like, oh my God, it's so amazing, and it turns out, oh, real-world performance is not so good. I was talking about a camera recently, which I'm not going to name again. And it's like, wow, it's only got a 5 frame per second mechanical shutter, which sucks. But it's got a 20 frame per second electronic shutter, but it turns out, well, the electronic shutter, just the same as Fuji and anybody else, electronic shutter, you got banding with fluorescent, incandescent lighting, these freaky-deaky lights that you have indoors, which is where sports action photography occurs. The specifications don't really tell you anything. I praise Fujifilm endlessly. Fujifilm is the tits. They're awesome. Right now, they're #1. Fujifilm is #1. Even though I had a not-so-hot encounter recently from me asking a tiny favor from Fujifilm, it doesn't change anything. Their cameras, that could change in the future. Fujifilm, like a lot of large companies, they become really successful for doing everything right, and then they try to, speed up production and quality and end up collapsing. That happens to a lot of companies. I am not predicting that of Fujifilm at all, but I hope to God it doesn't happen. Fujifilm right now is the hottest thing on the block. And I hope that they don't suffer a collapse from outsourcing everything to like China. Some of the lenses are made in China. Some of the cameras are no big deal. But big companies, that happens to big companies. It's like you're too big to fail. Like IBM's like, we're IBM, The hell with you, baby. We're IBM. Yeah, smoking a big Cuban cigar. Now IBM, you ever heard of IBM is, it's been subdivided. It still exists, but not really. IBM is remember AOL? AOL? Oh my God, everything was AOL. AOL. Yeah, right. You buy a camera based upon specifications, you're making a big dumbass mistake. You're being a fool. Some things, it's like, well, the specification's really important. Like right here, boom, that's bad. That's undeniable. I mean, some things, if it's written in stone and that's the specification, that's not good. So we can judge a camera partially upon specifications, but ultimately you can't. I mean, like the Nikon D3 now, for example, which I got 4 of those cameras, its specifications look like crap compared to, a lot of cameras today. It's a 12 megapixel, oh my God. That camera's the toughest made DSLR camera ever made. That camera is the tits. It's amazing. The rendering, the output's incredible. Dual XQD card slot. The camera is incredible. Camera used to be a fortune. Specifications don't look so hot today, so you need to decide, to be a smart person and not buy. I'm going to pre-order this camera because the specifications are amazing. Oh my God, everybody's buying this camera. Look at the specifications, 20 frames per second. Yeah, but that's electronic shutter. And you're going to banding issues, indoor sports. The camera's like, yeah, but it has no support. It has no ecosystem. Is that important word again? Ecosystem. Most important thing about a camera is ecosystem. It's like, oh, here's this shiny new thing we're going to sell you. Oh, by the way, we don't repair it. We don't fix it. We don't really support it well. We're going to obsolete it in 9 months. See, that's a bad ecosystem. So, you buy a camera based upon specifications, you're making a big, stupid mistake. Fujifilm, for example, its specifications, even on their X-T2. Like, where does Nikon stomp the hell out of Fujifilm, like on the X-T2? I got 2 X-T2s. The camera is amazing. Buffer, Nikon D500, D5 will just slam the hell out of the Fujifilm on buffer. Huge glass, Fujifilm doesn't have huge glass. High ISO performance, Nikon, everybody, including Canon, which sucks at high ISO. Everybody beats Fujifilm on high ISO performance. I mean, period. Don't care. I didn't buy the camera to be, shooting in super crap lighting. It's not bad, but it's certainly, Nikon will pound the hell out of the Fujifilm. Just pound it, hammer it like a nail on high ISO performance. Pound it. Literally, just pound the hell out of a Fujifilm on high ISO performance. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Pound it. There's no perfect camera. So, people always point out, Fujifilm, you got, your high ISO is not so good. Dynamic range is better on the X-T2 than it is on the Nikon D500. Fujifilm also has the best straight-out of camera images. Not that I'm a JPEG shooter at all. Some people like shooting JPEGs, that's fine. Best straight-out of camera images. I do. So anyway, before you buy an X camera based upon specifications, just think about that. It's like, well, that's the specifications. What about the performance? Performance. I could make an analogy, but I'm not going to do it, about someone someone that I read about that was like, it's this long, but it never, it's always, it's like, it's huge, yeah, but it's always, but I'm not going to talk about that. I hope you understood what I said right there at the end. If you don't, then you can't read between the lines on anything. Thank you. Bye. Oh, God.